brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see just a few more people coming into the waiting room, and we will get started very shortly because I'm very conscious it's the end of the day, so I'm sure we'll all want to be getting home. If not, we aren't already. So great.
We are, Caroline.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Caroline, and I'll be going through this presentation with my colleague Amy, and we're really hoping that this session is an opportunity to just kind of give you a bit of an insight into the behind the scenes at Enactus UK. I'm aware that a lot of us have kind of had that basic introduction maybe on the coach launch or have already been part of the programme for the year, but it's really just kind of the nitty-gritty of Enactus that hopefully this context will be able to kind of help you when you start working with your team. So we will get started. Okay, so like I said, just a quick agenda of what we're hoping to cover. It's a great opportunity to really inform and shape your experience and hopefully improve your ability to coach your students to take action and make sure that they deliver meaningful and measurable impact with their projects. Okay. So, like I briefly said, my name is Caroline, and I will pass on to Amy to quickly introduce herself as well.
I don't know, can you hear me through Caroline's screen now? Yes?
Yeah, I can see some nods.
Good, I'm loud enough. We're sat opposite each other, but because of our internet connections, we both can't connect at the same time. So we just have to try and do this kind of voice tennis here. But as Caroline says, I'm Amy. I am the Chief Operating Officer of Enactus UK, which is a great title and basically means that my job is to kind of oversee everything really that happens within the organisation. So supporting Caroline with the partnership, but also on the programme side, which you'll see is a lovely question mark at the moment because we're currently hiring for that role. So if anybody knows anybody, please do tell us. Because we are looking to hire a new programme director into our organisation very shortly. Back to you, Caroline.
Thank you very much. So hopefully that gives you a quick overview. We are quite a small team, as you can see, but we are very small and mighty, I like to say. So I'm sure some of you will have seen this slide before. I think it's a great overview to what Enactus is. But in essence, we are an organisation that supports students to develop projects that benefit their local community. These are social enterprises, so it's something that is giving back to the community. It's an opportunity for it to be self-sustaining. So they kind of develop not charities, but these enterprises that achieve one or more of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We really see ourselves as the bridge between the world of work and higher education, equipping students with those skills that will really help them with their graduate careers. And that's where you guys come in as coaches to really help build that skill experience for them. Okay, so here is a quick overview. Again, I know you're probably all quite familiar with this, but I think it really puts into like a really visible opportunity to see what we do, who we work with, and puts into perspective with the statistics in mind there. So you can see that we work with 65 universities, but we are part of a global network. So there is not just an Enactus UK, there is an Enactus South Africa, there's an Enactus India. They are all over the place, and a really incredible opportunity to see what is happening, which we'll talk about a little bit more, is the Enactus World Cup. So I will move on because I don't want to kind of bore you with this, but I will pass on to Amy.
I don't think it will ever be boring, Caroline. Super. So what we're going to go through now is just a couple of key facts, which is something that we've not really shared really wider than the organisation before, and especially I don't think with our coaches. So we just thought that this would be interesting for you to kind of get this insight, but also to really help you to support your teams moving forward as well. So Caroline, if you could keep pressing through and then it will come up. Excellent. So how is Enactus UK registered as an organisation? So we are actually a trading company, but we're a social enterprise and a charity at the same time. So we have two different arms of what we do. So the trading organisation is what our university programme is, which is what you guys support on. But we also have our charity side that works with schools within social mobility cold spots. So a lot of people know Enactus UK as a global organisation, and that's something Caroline just mentioned before. But what many people don't realise is that although we are part of the network, we are an independent organisation in our own right. So we have the only kind of link that we have with our global organisation is the branding. So a little bit like a franchise model, really. But again, that's just something important to know, because I think some people think that we are kind of all run by the same global HQ, but really it is run independently by everybody here in the UK. Something important to note as well is our funding and our sources and annual revenue. So as Catherine says, we are small but mighty, and that is the same for our revenue as well. We have an annual revenue of between £300,000 and £400,000, which sounds like a good amount, but really, if you think about all of our costs that we have and the amount of money that we give out to our teams in grants, which last year alone was over £100,000, it is very kind of tight in what we do, and we try to obviously as a charity maximise every single pound that we have in order to really make impact, which is where we kind of rely on support from organisations such as yourself. So in terms of Enactus UK's relationship with corporate partners, so Caroline's going to mention in a second the corporate partners that we work with, but really the relationship depends on, for many different reasons, why we partner with different organisations. For many, it may be as a talent acquisition opportunity, so to recruit some of the best top talent in the UK. For some, it may be to give their employees an opportunity for employee engagement opportunities, such as the coaching, hence you guys here. For others, it may be as a brand opportunity, brand exposure, just to kind of raise awareness of CSR activities, such as what we have with some of our big colleagues. But it really does depend. And what we try and do at Enactus UK is really make sure every relationship we have with our partners is bespoke, and that we maximise the ROI for every partner uniquely, to make sure that we're really doing our best as we can as an organisation to support you guys too. So when it comes to support available for Enactus teams and projects, really the support network is made up of ourselves here at Enactus UK, you guys as coaches, university advisors and the alumni, which I know Caroline's going to mention in just a second. And I think this one was more for the students, so you don't need to know what's not available for the Enactus teams and projects.
Fab. So, like Amy said, you're all obviously part of one of our partner organisations, and we're delighted to have you on board as part of the coaching network this year. But just so you get an insight into who we work with, these are our corporate partners, and like Amy said, each of our partners fund us for a slightly different reason. So whether that is to further the corporate social responsibility, whether that is to offer that brand engagement and brand awareness, and even to let students know what opportunities are available for them once they've finished their university degree. So everybody works with us for a slightly different reason, and it is my job alongside Amy to make sure that each of our partners are getting exactly what they need from their partnership. So this is who we work with. Hopefully there's nobody unfamiliar to you there, but if there is, I'm sure we can do a quick Google afterwards. So fantastic. Amy, just over to you.
Yeah, and I think just before we move on to our board members, I think what I would say just in regards to that partnership side that Caroline just put on as well, is just thinking about where your company stands. It's always a great opportunity to find out why they do partner, because that may change the way in which your relationships with the students is developed, or maybe you might be able to identify more opportunities for us to work with your organisation in other areas and other opportunities. So moving on to the Enactus UK Trading Board Directors. Now this is something that we've never shared, really, like it's completely common knowledge, it's out there, like obviously it's registered on Companies House, but we just wanted to share the people that we have on our board. And these are important not only because they are representations from your organisations and your companies, but also this is who really steers the direction of what we do as an organisation, whether that comes to our strategy, our funding, where our budgets are spent, where we decide to invest, where we decide to develop our kind of strategy as an organisation. This is really who does that. So you can see on here, we've got some great people on our board, and as an active member of our board as well, like I have the privilege of working with these guys on doing all of that and giving them the updates, especially in regards to you guys as coaches. That's something that I report on every single board meeting that we have, and we have them quarterly. But I'm sure you guys will recognise some of these faces of the people on the board. I can see Peter's looking closely to see who's on there, which is good. But these are some really, really cool people, and as I said, great representation from your organisations. So people for you guys to know about, and also people that, just so you know, I report on kind of your successes as well in our board meetings to them as well, which is always a great kind of privilege again to share with them all of your great work. Caroline?
Oh, thank you. So again, on to just another visual representation of who exactly we work with in our network. So if you are a new coach, you may not have seen this slide before, but this is all of our universities and their logos of who you could be connected with. If you are joining us for another year of coaching, hopefully you'll see the university that you have been working with previously, and maybe you'll be connected with a new university this year. And just as a note, we are always expanding our university program. So if you don't see your past university on there, don't be surprised if you do see them in the next couple of years. So brilliant. I will move on to our next slide. So as Amy said, the support network for an Enactus team is a huge part of your role as a coach. You are a brilliant aspect of that support network, but you will also be joined by university advisors. So they'll be the people who have that on the ground institutional knowledge that kind of gives that element of the questions and queries that are really specific to that university. They'll be there to provide that guidance. We also have alumni mentors. So these are individuals who have been through the program themselves, been through the Enactus program, have graduated and just can't stay away from us and really want to work with their team again, or work with another university team to help them through that process. And of course, we have ourselves as the staff team to be on hand to support our universities teams with whatever queries they might come up with. So as you can see, you're a really big part and an integral part to that support network, because it is really you who gives them that external reach to build those skills and to really develop the students themselves and their projects. Okay, so Amy, over to you.
Oh, there we go. It hadn't changed. Super. So again, we just wanted to give you a bit of an insight into how our operational model works. So really, the whole premise of Enactus, as we kind of said at the beginning, is that it's really to support student-led experiential learning opportunities through coaching, training, events, and national competition. We believe competition leads to innovation, and in turn leads to impact, which is what we're all about. So the way in which we do that really is through these four mechanisms. So the Enactus UK partner competitions. So if you are one of our platinum partners, you will be a sponsor of a partner competition. So for example, BIC have an equitable education, it's a tongue twister, partner competition. ASDA have one which is all about community champions and using that community champion space within stores to develop community engagement. Enterprise have one all about engagement and developing students around that kind of core competencies around communication, engagement, and leadership. EY have had one around diversity and inclusion. So it really does depend, but it gives one of our organisations a really good bespoke opportunity to drive something that's important to them. Another way we do that is through the races. Now, the races are an opportunity for us to really shape and develop our program in a way that we feel is kind of important to us here in the UK. So this year, you guys are getting a sneak peek at this because we've not even told the students yet, but we are launching 4 new UK races. So we are launching the race to climate action. We are launching the race to social mobility. We are launching the race to reduce inequalities. And also, I'm going to forget the last one. What is the last one? The race to health and well-being. Health and well-being, that's what it is. Nearly forgot it. Put myself on the spot here. So as you can see, some really kind of core things that are really important to the needs base here in the UK, which is super important to us. But again, it helps us shape, develop projects in the local communities around those 4 core areas. Other ways we do that is through the project accelerators. And last year we had some great organisation representation with those from ALA, from ASDA, from EY, from BIC. It was fantastic to see everything you guys are doing in your communities, which our students could then get inspiration from. And then lastly, student voice. Now we have over 3,000 students that are part of our programme across the UK. And I'm sure you can appreciate the diversity of those student space that we have. Now, one of the biggest things that we are now tapping into as an asset is their voice, is thinking about what's important to them. We've launched two really exciting diversity and inclusion student voice, student listening sessions this year. We're hoping to do more around STEM, women. We're also doing one with Unilever on people with disabilities. So using our students and their kind of thoughts, opinions to really shape the strategies of the organisations we work with as well, which again is a really cool part of our operating model. And we hope that by doing all of this, that then leads to responsible leadership, project impact, and of course, employability as an overall. Caroline?
Thank you. Oh, I've just been told my internet connection is unstable, so I'm really sorry if I suddenly drop off anywhere. Hopefully, I'll be able to stay for the duration. We just wanted to have a bit of a fun, hopefully you'll find it fun. I definitely find it fun. And maybe my enthusiasm will rub off on you guys, but to give you an insight into what we've done with our students, we wanted to do a little true or false. I don't know if I've lost connection, Amy. It's telling me my connection's lost. I don't know. I think we're still on the board, hopefully. Maybe it's my there we go, we're getting on there now. I'll just give everybody a quick 30 seconds to get themselves logged in. That's it, just head to slido.com. When it asks for a code, just type in Coach 101. Brilliant, we're all rolling up there. Let's see if we can get to 30. Oh, that's brilliant. I think everybody's woken up. I think it's my screen that's woken up rather than you guys. And we will get started. So the first question will begin. All Enactus teams are expected to participate in the Enactus UK national competition in April. Is this true or is this false? So if your team came to you to say, do I need to compete? What advice would you give them? So I've got 4 more seconds to answer this. Let's see what we think. Okay, so this in fact is true. So Enactus UK, a huge part of our organisation is the competition in April, because this is a real opportunity to celebrate the work that our teams have done over the year. And we get all of our teams together, no matter if they're brand new, if they've been part of the programme for many years, we all get them to compete. So this is true in this case. Okay, so phones at the ready. We'll go for our next question. Brilliant. And let's see who's currently in the leaderboard. So Brian, well done. First, fast fingers. Okay, so next question. Enactus is only for business and management students, and recruitment should only focus on this school of learning. So if your team says we're only going to recruit from the business school this year, would you say, yep, great idea, or maybe not? So is this true? It's just for business students, or is this false? Let's see what the scores on the doors are. Okay, perfect. Nobody was fooled into this one. It is, of course, false. Enactus is absolutely fantastic for all of our disciplines across any university, and the more diverse teams, the better. So well done, Brian. You held on to your lead there. Well done. Okay, next question. Enactus teams must remain inclusive and welcome new students throughout the year, even when there's not immediately obvious roles for them. So should teams be recruiting throughout the year, or do you think it should just be for if they've got roles for them in September? Let's see. Okay. Overwhelmingly true. That's fantastic. Amy, do you have a point on this?
Yeah, so it may seem obvious on this one that teams should remain inclusive and welcome new students throughout the year, but many people, if I'm being totally honest, get a bit scared, because managing a team of students is overwhelming. I know when I was a team leader, we had over 250 students in our team, and there were many times when I wanted to say no and not let new people in, because I didn't want to have a lack of control more than anything else. So it is overwhelming for our students. But what I would just kind of encourage you guys when you're having those coaching conversations is really just help the students understand that that is a great challenge to have. We are on board to help them, really help with their inclusivity. We can do different tiers, we can do volunteering roles. Not everybody has to be full-time. So I would just welcome that challenge. Like, if you ever have your team saying to you, oh, we don't want to take on any new members, please just always encourage them to reach out to us so we can help them with that and really develop that leadership capability in them.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, we've got a new lead, and Nisa's moved up to number 1. I think the odds are getting closer now. So let's see what our next question is. So, university students or the general population are a strong choice of beneficiary groups to develop a project around. So would you advise your team to develop a project around students being the beneficiary, or would you advise against that? So is this true or false? Let's see. Okay, I think that is 50-50 split. Okay, so this is false. We develop Enactus projects and social enterprises that have a really specific beneficiary group in mind. So we find that the more niche a project is, because the students have spent that time really thinking about helping that one person rather than a wide group, this is the projects that have the most impact and have the most deep impact, because they've really understood that group. Whereas the general population or student or university students even is really broad, and it's quite difficult to delve and gain that deep impact that Enactus projects are looking for. Amy, did you have anything to add on that?
No, I think you nailed it on the head really, Caroline, there. Like, the whole point of Enactus is that we are needs-based. We focus on the need, as Caroline said, of a beneficiary group, and then that's when we develop a solution from there. What we really encourage students not to do is go solution first. And what we find is when they either work with university students or the general population, they're looking solution focused, not needs focused, and therefore it's kind of a one-size-fits-all approach, which doesn't get the deep impact that we really want to encourage the students to have. But again, if there are any questions about this, please do let us know, because what it may need to happen, they may just need to kind of go in a bit deeper to that beneficiary group and really figure out what it is they're trying to do and what they're trying to achieve.
Thank you very much. Brilliant. Oh, Mike has taken over number 1 now. Wow, it is all to play for. Okay.
Competitive.
It is. So international projects have greater impact and are more impressive in competitions, presentations, or to partners. Would you say this is true, or would you say this is false? If you had a team that wanted to do an international project over a local, what would you say? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, of course. So overwhelmingly, we've gone for false, which is the right answer. Amy, did you have something on this?
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And I'm really glad that you guys agree with that as well, because we totally do too. Don't get me wrong, what we often find is the needs in our international projects are more basic, and therefore do tend to appear to have greater impact, because they can be the needs around the kind of, if you're thinking of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that basic level, so food, shelter, water, etc., warmth. Whereas the needs in the UK, we definitely have those needs, and if your students or your teams ever challenge you on that, please get them to just go out into their local communities, because I can guarantee you they will find them. But for us, really having a strong local project is super important. It shows us as well that they understand their beneficiary, because they can go and meet them, they can talk to them, they can see them. That's not to say that we don't encourage international projects as well, but with international projects, there are a lot of more kind of things for them to consider, a lot more considerations around location, safety, safeguarding, and it just comes with a kind of a lot more challenges. So if we ever have an opportunity to kind of encourage students where to do projects, always based in their local community, there are definitely needs in the UK that we need to address, which sometimes I think they overlook.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Mike's held on to his lead. I'm sure he'll be pleased to know. Okay, we're getting on to question 6 out of 10. So engagement with Enactus UK assigned business coaches is optional and communication is only required as and when the team needs something. So do you think this is true or do you think this is false? So this is what we asked our students, and we had some interesting responses, shall we say. Okay, so a bit of a split. So I would say this is false. This is something our students are a bit unsure of as well, and it is my role really to kind of hammer that home, that the support network is there for the duration of the year. And we find that the relationship that you'll build with your team to build that rapport is better when that is that constant communication. So whether that is within your monthly support network meetings, whether if you're a VP mentor, that's one-to-one with your vice president of engagement, however that looks. And I'm sure you are all aware that the minimum requirement that we have at Enactus UK is that 1 hour a month, which usually fits into a support network meeting. And that meeting is really an opportunity for the team to present their challenges, but also to present their short, medium, their long-term goals for projects. Maybe they're struggling with recruitment. It's a real chance to share their success with you, but also areas that they can improve on. So I would just really encourage the Vice President of Engagement to be connecting with you at least once a month in that support network meeting, if not more, depending on how much you can give to the role. Amy, did you have anything to add on that?
No, the only thing is, that's not to say, like, if people go on holiday or if people have time now that you have to still talk. That's not the case at all. It is just more of a, that's what we encourage students to do, because communication is super important. That's a key employability skill, and it's something that we massively encourage them to develop whilst they're at university, and sometimes they forget. So this is just a great opportunity again for Caroline to be aware of that situation. If you are struggling with any kind of communication challenges with the team, please let us know straight away. I've not said it in a while, Caroline, so I can get away with it. But we like to hear about good news fast, but we like to hear about bad news faster. So just tell us, because then we can sort problems out early on and we can really then make an impact.
Definitely.
It's not said it in a while.
No, you haven't. I'll let you off. Okay, so the competition is getting tight with 4 questions to go, and that is just proved. I don't know what's happened to Mike there. So, but we'll be fine. I'm sure we'll gain it back. So let's keep going. So Enactus teams can ask their business coaches or other corporate organizations to provide funding or gift items to their projects. So is this true or is this false? So have a think if a team came to you and asked this. Okay, we will see. Okay, it's more false than true, and that is the right answer. So we share with our students that, you know, our corporate sponsors fund us for the variety of reasons, as we told yourselves, and you make a donation for that partnership that we work with as Enactus UK. And a lot of our partnerships already fund, like Amy said, that funding for our grant, and we like to keep it that way rather than as a business coach individually. And it just shows that, you know, your organization is already sponsoring us. It feels a little bit improper for teams to ask that, and it can also be detrimental to that relationship. So our teams are aware of this, but we wanted to make you aware of this. So if there is any situations like this, you know what to say, and if this is something that is happening repeatedly, and hopefully it would never will be the worst case, you'll know to just direct them to myself or Amy. So okay, moving on to who's on the scoreboard. Oh, Brian now top again. We see he's taken back his lead. Okay, so next question. University advisors should be the first point of contact of support for the team and project specific questions, requests for help, advice and guidance. Alex, I've just seen your question on the last one. I'll pick it up just after this time. Okay, great. So that is overwhelmingly true, and that's correct. Our university advisors are kind of there as that on the ground support. They're there to develop the students' like projects. If they have those questions like how do we book a room, those questions like that, they should be their first point of call. Like as a coach, you're there to develop the whole team. And you're there to really give them that support for an overarching view of their projects, or, you know, give them that professional guidance in how to write a professional email, on how to follow through with meeting requests, kind of those types of situations. But they should really be directing their, you know, kind of nitty-gritty questions to the university advisors first. Alex, you're welcome to post your question in the chat. I can see your microphone might be struggling, and we can go from there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi. Sorry, it sounds super strange on my end. It feels like I'm on mute. I just had a question on the previous one on the funding that I wanted to check with you, and glad you raised that. This was actually my suggestion to one of the students, and neither party was sure if this was possible, so we wanted to take this with you. Does this mean that a third party organization outside of the corporate partners wouldn't be able, for example, to invest in one of the projects that they think has got potential? Is that something that would be feasible, or is that outside of the kind of the rules of the game?
So, not outside, great question, first of all, and I think it's something that's really helpful for everybody to know about as well. So it's really tricky to understand because there's no black and white answer. It's very grey, which is not helpful for anybody I know. So the overwhelming answer is, if you ever want to kind of know a specific, just ask us. Like if there's a pot of money or an opportunity that you think this would be great, like I want the team to be aware of it. Worst case, just drop me, Caroline, a message, an email, a text, or whatever you want, and just say, would this be appropriate? Can I send this? And we'll always get back to you immediately and let you know yes or yay or nay. In a nutshell, if it's a grant application, a charitable thing, so for example, at the big lottery fund, there used to be a limited that used to do a lot of grant funding for teams and projects. That's absolutely fine because it's a one-off payment. It's a grant payment, which is totally fine. It's when it becomes more of a partnership that's when there needs to be some kind of what's it called, like benefits on either side. That's when we say that isn't allowed for our teams and the project. But again, always just kind of chuck it over to us. You may know about pots of money within your firms or within your organizations that might be accessible for maybe for foundation grants or anything like that might be suitable for the project. Again, that might be appropriate, but again, it's when it becomes that kind of relationship partnership that we do not allow the team to kind of do, because from an Enactus UK perspective, we need to be aware of those from a brand piece, from managing that brand, managing that expectation, but also from just ensuring that the teams are getting the benefits across the board. We just again need to be aware of those relationships. So feel free to send anything over to us and we can definitely have a look. But we obviously want the team to get the most amount of investment. So if there is anything, we will always do our best to say yes versus no. So I hope that helps, Alex.
Okay. Oh, well, I thought there was 10 questions, but it looks like there was only 8. So let's just see who was the overall winner. So well done, Brian. You're the winner of the quick quiz that we did, and thank you so much. I think it was a great opportunity to kind of get through a few of those mythbusters that our students struggle with. Yep, and we will move over to the opportunities on offer.
We've only got 1 minute, so I don't know if it's just worth to go through the
of course, yes. So I've just seen that Amy has just given me the fingers of the warning of the 1 minute time. So just something that I would love you guys to do for this session is to register your attendance. So with the reason that we're asking you to do that, hopefully your phone's still out, I've just put the link in the chat. The reason we're asking you to do this is to explore who's attending our sessions, see, you know, where the representation is for our different organisations, making sure that we're supporting you in the best way. But also we're hoping to bring in some coaching accreditation a little bit later on in the year, and we'll explain that on our monthly coaching calls going forward. So this would be an opportunity to just let us know who's there and going forward. So please do just click that in the chat, just so we're making sure we're communicating the right things. And also we have a LinkedIn group. I don't have the group link to hand, but if you type in to LinkedIn, Enactus UK Business Coach, you'll find it there. This is an opportunity from following on from last year. We worked out that the individual company organization LinkedIn groups wasn't that effective, so we've made a huge one all together, going on from your feedback to make sure that we can network. We'll be sharing updates, and if you have any challenges like the one that Alex mentioned, pop it in the LinkedIn group, because you'll get our input. You might have had experiences of another coach giving their input on that, and it's a great opportunity to just keep that ball rolling and making sure we're all getting that best practice opportunity. Oh, thank you so much, Mark. That is very helpful. He's already found it for me. Okay, and then last but not least, these are our monthly coaching sessions. So again, we'll be sending these out a little bit later. They occur on the second Tuesday of every month via Zoom. We'll do them a little earlier, and that last 15 minutes is a Q&A experience. So it is just a 45-minute session, but if you do need to hang about and ask us any questions at the end, we've kind of factored in that time to do that. So this is what it'll look like for the rest of the year. And of course, kind of on that, we would really like to know if there's anything that you would like us to cover. So just head back onto Slido. Hopefully it's still a tab somewhere. Or again, if you need to jump off the call now, please just send us an email. Just because we are getting a good educated guess of what we think we should cover, but we would love to know from your experience if you think there's any gaps or anything that you'd like a little bit more kind of impact on. Sorry, I've just read that and put in impact, but any insight on, we'd be more than happy to help. Will you be linked with a team before the 26th of August? Yes, you will. We will be doing that the week before. So that session will be a 45-minute networking session. You'll receive a link, a connection to the team with their emails before that point, but by you turning up to the session, you'll have already known. So we will be getting that information out to you in the next couple of weeks. So great. Okay, I will just quickly move on because I'm very aware of the time you might need to jump off. And this is the last push from me. We would love you to sign up as a World Cup judge. Just like our one, if you were part of it, our virtual national competition, this is an opportunity for you to kind of give 2 hours of your time over a 4-day kind of opportunity. You can pick and choose what works for you, but we'd love you to be either an opening round or a semi-final round judge. If you head to this website, make sure you sign up as the business admission ticket. That will give you access to the agenda, which has the opening round and the semi-final round in there. But I will be sending out more information on that. So if you do miss it now, don't worry, you'll surely get an email from me very soon. Okay, so just beat me to the punchline. Our networking session is on the 26th of August. It will just be a 45-minute session, so please don't think you need to be available for the whole time. We'll send you details closer to the time which slot you'll fit into, and you'll already know by that point which team you'll be assigned to this year. Okay, so thank you so much. I'll be hanging around for the next couple of minutes if you do have any questions, but if not, have a lovely evening, and we're really looking forward to have you part of the journey this year and to see you all very shortly at our networking session. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Speak soon.